Good morning. It's not morning. Good afternoon. My name is Treneta and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy this episode. And because of that, I hope you like and subscribe and join the family. If you're coming back, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And I hope you love this episode as much as I'm going to enjoy making it, as much as I enjoyed researching on it, and as much as I enjoyed planning for it. But anywho, let me tell y'all. So, me being me, I've recorded this episode before. It's just that halfway through my other recording, my mic switched off. I feel like it died. It died on me, which was very sad. I didn't notice until after recording it, so I had to re-record. But that's not the case. Ne? So I think this episode is gonna be way better. Just way better formed and laid out than the other one. So I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. And if you do comment, don't forget to comment, don't forget to like, and don't forget to subscribe and press the ring button, the bell button. Me? Yeah. So in today's episode, like you saw, basically it's festive season. I'm re-recording this on Monday the week before Christmas. Hopefully I can post it at least today or tomorrow, right? So that it can, I don't know, help, I guess. Or if it does not reach a lot of people this year, hopefully it goes out next year before Christmas and that more Christians can find it and see it, right? And it's better late than never, in my opinion. So I got the things today. So in today's episode, we're gonna cover um what I think, how I think Christians should celebrate Christmas. And I'll be covering a lot of things, a lot of chaos that's going on online. Please do forgive me if I keep checking my mic. I don't want it to die on me again. So I will be going through a lot of conspiracy theories on Christmas and what people think it means and all of that. I'll just be going through it bit by bit, and hopefully by the end of this episode, if there are any newly born Christians who fear what's this who fear being involved in anything that is not Christ-like or anything that is pagan, they can be set free from that fear and they know how to approach Christmas better. If there's Christians who still do not celebrate Christmas because they fear that they're celebrating something that's pagan, right? I hope that this episode clears that up for you. And if you genuinely don't know what the fuss is around Christmas with Christians, I hope this clarifies everything for you and makes you more aware of everything around you, what you do, what you participate in, and how you view and see things. So, a quick disclaimer, I am using natural lighting, right? And a back camera, so I can't see myself right now, and it's just giving me anxiety. But natural lighting is gonna, it's gonna twerk, it's gonna shake here and there, right? So we're gonna get started. So I believe that I think from what I've noticed from the videos I've watched, or how people talk about it, the comments I've read in the videos I've watched, a lot of people are just scared of basically participating in things that will draw them further away from Christ, right? There's this rise in the little picking of holidays and seeing if holidays are demonic, a pagan, or anything like that. And it's just like when you are a newly born Christian, when you know how it feels to not be near the glory of God, you have this fear of doing anything that will lead you astray from that. So I feel like that is what makes people extra anxious about celebrating Christmas. And it's just like, I'm here to address it. I'm here to hopefully leave you at ease and make you want to celebrate Christmas the right way. So as you have noticed, my stance is that you can still celebrate Christmas. You just need to do it better. This lighting is giving me anxiety. Hopefully the sun comes back up. But yeah. So let me just quick. So basically, from what you've noticed, I keep using the word pagan. For those who do not know what pagan or holidays refer to, pagan holidays are holidays that do not belong to any main religion of the world, but instead take stance or a belief in like gods and goddesses. I'd like to refer to Greek gods because that's the ones that are predominant, right? So pre-Christian gods and goddesses, those are the ones. If the religions, no, if the holidays stand bases or support or just put them in the front line, those are pagan holidays, right? So as Christians, we're not supposed to be idolizing, praising anyone else but our God, right? So it's kind of like a fear of, what if I am doing this thing, I'm celebrating Christmas, and it's a thing of, it is pagan and I'm not supposed to. You get me? So there are a lot of um holidays that are associated with being pagan, includes Christmas, New Year's Eve, St. John's Eve, Easter, Halloween, things like that. And it's just like with Christmas coming like literally next week, it's just like there's a lot of fuss around Christmas. And I just wanted to post this video like before that in hopes that it reaches someone, clarifies something to someone, and hopefully if you don't do it right this year, I hope you find it next year and you do it right, you know. So first and foremost, the biggest concern for us Christians is this man called Santa Claus, right? So Santa Claus, the origins of who Santa Claus is, Santa Claus is basically Saint Nicholas. That's his actual name, that's who he represents. um Excuse me, that is who that's where it originated from, Saint Nicholas. So Saint Nicholas was actually a Christian man. He was very godly, he was kind, he was generous, he was giving, he loved kids, he was just so nice. He existed around the 280 AD, so which is kind of a long time ago. And when he passed away, um it hit. You know, he was like an iconic person. People knew him. He was nice. He was sweet, and people were just like, "Oh my god, this! Oh my god, we need to find a way to like honor him, right?" And that's when Saint Nicholas's dinner came upon. And Saint Nicholas's dinner came upon by the Dutch. So the Dutch are the sorry, the Dutch are the people that started with Saint Nicholas's dinner, and apparently it was on the 6th of December, if I am not mistaken. Do correct me if I am, but it was on the 6th of December, and it was Saint Nicholas's dinner to honor his death, to honor his memory, to honor what he stood for, right? And then it was brought to New York around the 18th inch century, 18th inch, 18th century, like the 1700s, basically. That's when the Saint Nicholas's dinner came to New York. And you know, when things hit America, when they hit the New York, that's when they start to spread, right? So, with that being said, where does the whole thing of Santa Claus come from? Santa Claus, how does Saint Nicholas turn and become Santa Claus, right? So, what's this? Santa Claus comes from it's his nickname, basically his Dutch nickname, because in Dutch it's not Saint Nicholas. In Dutch it was Santa Claus, and then I don't know how it went from Santa Claus to Santa Claus, but it did. It did. It went from Santa Claus to Santa Claus at some point, and people just knew him as Santa Claus. Okay, with that being said, the whole name of Santa Claus, now you know where Santa Claus comes from, right? And then it's like, okay, where does Christmas come from? So Christmas was it originated in Rome, but it was not a big Christian festival until the 9th century. So it's kind of iffy because it's like Christmas started in the 9th century, but only in the 18th century that's when Santa Claus came in. So I feel like that just further justifies that Santa Claus has nothing to do with Christmas, basically. We now know that Santa Claus and Christmas are two different things and they originated at two different times. So, with that being said, it should be um, known and it should be just like emphasized that Santa Claus was added onto Christmas. And that is why Christians have such a big thing and it bothers us so much because it's like, why is this person who was never part of Christmas originally now becoming such a big part of Christmas? So that is who Santa Claus is, and that is the timelines on when Christmas and Santa Claus came about. And I would advise and I would recommend that as Christians, Santa Claus be removed from the celebration of Christmas because he literally has nothing to do with it, right? And it's just taking away from the whole imagery of Jesus Christ and his birth. Right. And then another thing, as Christians, that is a thing that stands out is the idolization of the Santa Claus. It goes back to just him being an addition that is unnecessary. And I would recommend that he just be removed because a lot of kids, especially in the Western culture, kids, families make him such a big thing. Christmas is all about Santa Claus, all about gift giving, it's all about this red big man. He's at the malls, he's with the kids. It just takes the whole sentiments out of the true purpose of what Christmas was set for, which is the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, right? And then I recently came to notice that what's this? A lot of Christians, lukewarm Christians, if I may say, tend to dilute how impactful the demonic world is, right? And how impactful the certain practices that done in the demonic world should not be in any way associated with anything that has to do with Christ, right? And that includes the offering. So basically, offering is basically giving food, gifts, or anything to a god or someone that you worship, or anyone that you worship basically, and you offer things to them. That is the same thing as what kids do and what families do with Santa Claus when they give him the cookies and the milk, right? It's the same thing as offering. It's the same thing as putting things down there so that you can receive something. And that in the demonic world is very bad. And if you are a Christian, I don't think you should be in any way participating in things that can call upon things that you do not know what you're calling upon, right? Because it's like, okay, yes, Santa Claus is a nickname from Santa Claus, but then you're not saying Santa Claus at the end of the day. You do not know who's the Santa Claus person is now associated with, and you're just calling onto him to come into your house and take what he has to take, the cookies, the food that you left for him, and bring in the gifts, right? And that just puts a whole mindset to kids that they have to give in order to receive. And it also brings the whole thing of that you earn a gift and all of that, that is something that Christianity doesn't stand for. Christianity is not a thing that in Christianity you do not give to get. You get what I'm saying? And when it comes to Christmas, because Christmas is the representation of the birth of Christ, Christ who came into our lives for salvation. And the more that we tell kids that they have to behave, they have to act well to receive gifts on Christmas, it brings up a whole notion that as a person when growing up you have to be good, you need to do all these things to earn salvation. When as Christians we stand on the whole notion that salvation is a gift, right? And then Another thing that's a whole notion that I feel like people should be aware of, but at the same time, I do think people kind of exaggerate it a lot, is how apparently when you switch up the letters of Santa, it becomes Satan. I do think it's a thing to be wary of, but I don't think it's like, oh my god, sorry, oh my gosh, right? I don't think it's a thing that you should be like, oh my omg, um when spelled in another way, it means Satan, right? It is a big thing. It is a thing to be wary of. But I do not. All I feel like you can do as a person is just to remove Santa Claus as a whole, remove his whole imagery, remove the effect and the impact that he has on your celebrations during Christmas, because Christmas is a way of celebrating the birth of Christ. Another thing that I believe people turn around and make it as if it's something that it's not is the Christmas trees. There's a lot of a whole thing of Christmas trees, pagan Christmas trees, idolization, Christmas trees, and dun, and it's just like it is not. It is not, like, genuinely it is not. So when people use that argument, they usually refer to Jeremiah 10, right? Jeremiah 10, I don't know if I'll be able to put it on the screen, but Jeremiah 10 basically talks about how these people that would idolize, not trees, that would idolize things. Basically, they cut down a tree, they take the tree to a craftsman who shapes it. Basically, let me ask you something. Do you take your Christmas tree to a craftsman? No. Or am I wrong? Do you take your tree to a craftsman? No, right? And it goes further to talk about how people used to put jewelry and gold and silver on this idol. Do you take your tree and do you put jewelry on it? No. You get what I'm saying? So it just puts emphasis on how people are just um taking the word and using it in ways that justify what they believe or what they want people to believe. Another thing that I would like to just bring out, I'm not your Bible. I'm not the person that you should just be like, oh my gosh, he said this about this verse, so it means this, right? Do go read the Bible. Do go through Jeremiah 10 and read what it says and understand what it says, right? One website I would recommend is enduring.com. Is endure word. I'll write it down. It helps me so much whenever I like to understand a scripture and I just go through it and it explains everything nicely. So if you struggle and if you have heard of the whole notion of Jeremiah 10 and you use it to not bring in Christmas trees and you use it to just tell Christians to not celebrate Christmas, then go through that, go through it, analyze it, and make sure that, and when you are done, you are able to understand what they're actually talking about. I'm going to show what a normal Christmas tree looks like, right? And I'll show you what these gods or these idols that Jeremiah 10 is referring to look like. And you're going to see that these two things are two different things. And don't you go around and be like, don't, Jeremiah 10 talks up against the Christmas tree, because it does not. Read your word, understand your word, and do not spread the word in ways that you want it to be heard, but in ways that it actually means and it actually wants to be interpreted. That is why a lot of people, when it comes to Bible studying, they encourage you to pray and for you to actually study the word, to talk in context and to understand what the word is talking about, because it comes to situations like this where now it scares people from bringing trees into their houses. It scares people to bring in plants in their houses because they're like, oh my god, it's idolization. No, it's not. It depends on what you do with the tree, right? And then when we look at Leviticus 23 verse 40, right? It talks about the actual tree. It talks about pine trees. It talks about all these trees, all these nice trees that are asked and called to put in the altars when you celebrate and you worship God and things like that. It is not a tree that you go down and bow before. It is a tree you use to decorate the places of God, because it is His nature, it is His creations. So you can take trees and decorate your house. You can take, like how you take plants and decorate, it is His creation, unless you break it down and make it to be something that it was not in its natural form, then that is not right. That is not okay. But if it's a tree on its natural form, then I don't think you're doing anything wrong with that. And as people, I believe we should stop spreading the lies on the tree, the Christmas tree. It doesn't do anything to you unless you are making it look like it has a head and all of that. If it's not in its natural form, it is not a Christmas tree anymore, right? And then another thing, it is the elves. The elves are these small beings that associated with Santa, and they make gifts at the North Pole and dun dun and dun dun and dun dun, right? Again, I'd like to put emphasis on that, as like usually lukewarm Christians, they dilute the significance of the demonic world. It exists, it's a thing, right? And as a person, you should be conscious that you don't take things from the demonic world and put them into your house. That is what comes into play when you're talking about elves. Elves are associated with monitoring spirits. Monitoring spirits are basically spirits that come into your house and check what you are doing, what's happening in your life, and all of that, right? And it's just like another thing that stands out for me when it comes to monitoring spirits, it just put further on emphasizes that the devil cannot hear your thoughts. They have to put people into your life so that you spill things, and then the monitoring spirits hear. So these elves are associated with monitoring spirits. So when you put them into your houses and you call upon the Christmas spirit and you call upon Santa Claus, you don't know what you're calling upon. You don't know what you're putting on the whole notion elf on the shelf. You don't know what you're putting on your shelf to guard and look and watch through you and watch over you. I do not think as Christians you should be putting owls anywhere in your house to guard or to look over anything of yours, right? Owls are also associated with another demonic spirit things that are called imps, right? Do your research if you do not believe me, and you will see how much there are certain things that are put in and that are all around Santa Claus that are very demonic, and that's very much not Christ like. And as Christians, they should be removed, right? Another thing I'd like to touch on is the mistletoe. The mistletoe, the nice tree thingy that you put on the roof, and if people stand under it, you get to kiss and all of that, right? One thing that the mistletoe encourages, or what it's said to portray, is love, right? Brings people together, has people kissing and finding love, right? But then if you look at it like for real, it's just a thing that's under there that encourages lust and fornication, right? Because if you think about it, if you go to a Christmas party and there's this tree thingy, and you just keep running under it, you basically end up kissing a lot of strangers. And if I'm being honest, if you see a tall, dark, nice, handsome, or a shoddy, peng, ting, looking good, looking, baddie, don't, as a guy or as a girl, you see a tall, dark, and handsome boy, or a short yellow king. I don't know what your type is, right? And you see that, and you find yourself under the mistletoe and you make out with this person. Do you really think it's gonna end there? Do you really think that's where it stops? It encourages kissing strangers, it encourages lust because you lust over this person. And that is something that I do not think should be associated with Christ. It shouldn't be associated with the celebration of Christ, the birth of Jesus Christ. Another big thing, I don't know if this is my last one, but another big thing is the birthday of Christ, right? In the Bible, throughout the Bible, in the Old Testament, there's the prediction, there's the prophesying of the birth of Jesus Christ, but nobody knows the date. Nobody knows when he was born. Nobody, right? Nobody knows when he was born. Nobody knows at what season. There's a lot of what's this ideas. People use astrology and they're like, no, if you look at the stars, then if the stars were how it was said in the Bible, then it would most probably be. Some people say September, but there's a lot of assumptions on when he was born. And there's Christians that are like, if Jesus wanted us to know when he was born, he would have told us. And to be honest, I agree with that. Maybe there's a reason why we do not know when he was born. Maybe it's because that is when he will be coming back on the second coming. And that's why he doesn't want us to know when he'll be born. Because if we know, then we'll know every year on this day he might come back. So we need to act good and be good. So maybe that's why. I feel like that's what makes sense to me, right? And it's just like at the same time, it's like if that is the case, if you won't celebrate Christmas because it's not the exact day that Christ was born, then okay, it's okay. I get the whole point. But in my opinion, it's like not all holidays are exact, not all holidays are to the point. And it's like for me, it's a thing of if your birthday is, for example, on the 1st of December and someone came to you on the 5th of December and was like, Happy birthday, here's a gift, would you be mad? I don't think so. It's still a celebration of your birthday. If, for example, your birthday is in January, because people claim to be broke in January. So if your birthday is like me, it's in January, and you said, Okay, I don't have money, I'm gonna celebrate my birthday in February when I get money, right? And then we go out, we have lunch, we have a nice big dinner, and we celebrate my birthday. Is that a crime? I don't think so. You get what I'm saying? So for me, it's a thing. I don't think the date uh, is that much of a big deal that you can use it to not celebrate the birth of Christ. I don't think it's like, oh my God, it's not the exact date. Okay, you will never know the exact date though. Okay, you'll never know the exact date. For me, how I think you should view it as a thing of look at this as an opportunity where you get to celebrate Christ with the whole world. You get what I'm saying? It is the one holiday where Christ is the main thing. It's the one holiday where Jesus, where Christianity is the main thing. It is the one holiday where you will hear Christian songs on the radio, where you will hear people will just be rejoicing in the name of Christ, right? Unless they're rejoicing in the name of Santa. I just had to say. But it is the one day where Christ is the main focus. And as a Christian, I do not understand why you would not take full advantage of that day to celebrate Him, to act Christ like, to be Christ like, to make sure you put your faith out in blast and just take that day and show the whole world that I am Christian and this is how we celebrate Christmas. I feel like when celebrating that Jesus was born, not necessarily his birthday. Sorry, if you look at it like that, Christmas is a day you celebrate that Jesus was born. You celebrate his birth, you celebrate his coming. It's not happy birthday, Jesus. It's oh my God. Today we are focusing and we are taking in the fact that you were brought to us, that you were born and you were brought into our lives for our salvations. I don't know why you wouldn't take advantage of that and why you'd be like, but it's not the exact date, so I won't celebrate it. To be honest, I don't see it as a big deal to that extent. But if it is to you, then do you. Just do not spread your beliefs to people and tell people that no, it's not an exact date, so why are you celebrating it? You might be wrong. Okay, if I choose that I want to celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December, and I'm like, I want to celebrate Christ 4 times a year, right? Every 3 months, I want to celebrate that Christ was born, and I want to just make it a thing. Will you still interrogate me? Excuse me, I hope not. It's not about the day he was born, but the whole notion of him being born that is the main focus in Christmas. And I hope that settles the birthday case, the birthday date case. I hope that settles it. And then another thing is I just greed. Another thing is greed. Greed is usually associated with Christmas because of the gifts, right? People are like, no, it teaches greediness. It teaches that you can have anything you want. You can just get. And it's just like, I don't think that's the whole note. I don't think that is Christ like at all. Another thing I would like as people for us to think about when celebrating Christmas and how you structure how you celebrate Christmas. Think of Christ, think of God, think of what Christianity is based on, and ask yourself what are the characteristics, what are the principles that God would want to be displayed throughout this day. I don't think greed is one of them, and greed is in the perspective of the receiver. Christianity does not put main focus on the receiver. Christianity puts main focus on the giver. In my opinion, like it says, blessed is the hand that giveth and the hand that receiveth, right? So for me, it's like Christianity focuses on the giver. The more you are nice, love your neighbor, be nice, turn the other cheek, forgive. You are being the giver. So Christmas focuses on gift giving, not gift receiving, not receiving things, not acting nice to receive things. Christmas focuses on loving your family and your friends so much that you're like, you know what? I want to give you a gift. I want to gift you this, right? And that is what Christmas focuses on. It also puts emphasis on that salvation is a gift. You get me? So that is one thing. Another thing that people don't like is that gift giving can serve as a burden to families, and it's just like financially straining. It doesn't have to be. Gifts don't have to be the main focus. If I'm being honest, in my family, we don't do gift giving. I remember one of my aunts, my eldest aunts, once tried it and it failed. It flopped so bad. We did it for one Christmas, and after that, everyone just forgot about it. It's not a thing that as a family we put it into our traditions. What we put in our tradition, what we do is that every Christmas we go to someone's place and we celebrate, we eat, we meet, we talk, we praise, we sing. That is our religion. If for you gift giving feels like it is a burden, then you're doing it all wrong. It's not supposed to be a burden. Giving should be something that comes from the heart. If you can't give because you're financially incapable, that is okay. Your family should be able to understand that. So gift giving is supposed to not be a burden. If it feels like it, you're doing it all wrong. You're doing it all wrong. You need to sit down and be like, you know what, my kids can survive Christmas without gifts. They need to understand the financial situation at home. I feel like that's another thing that center brings. Because the thing of like, if you make the whole notion that if you behave well, you get a gift, then the year where you are incapable of giving gifts, the kids will think they did something wrong, and they didn't. They didn't do anything wrong. They were like, oh my God, did I not behave this year? It's not that. It's just that you are financially incapable. So I believe removing center also gives you a leeway and the ability to gift when you can and to not gift when you can't. You get what I'm saying? To be able to do what you can when you can. You get me? Because now you're not forced because, oh my God, there is center, and center always comes. Center's notion also puts pressure on us as people and as families, as parents, and all of that, because you're like, he represents gift giving, we need to be giving gifts, right? Which is something I definitely would suggest, that if it feels like a burden, remove it. If it's straining you, remove it. You get me? Celebrate the principles that are in representation of Christ, which is giving from the heart and giving what you can, not going and breaking your back to give what is going to leave you in debt for the next 6 months or for the next year until another Christmas. I don't think Christ would like that. I don't think that is something he stands for. And read your Bible if you actually want to see what he stands for. If you want to understand how you could celebrate Christmas to the best of his liking as Christ, do go through the Bible and learn more about him. Then you learn more about how you feel like the celebration of his birth should be celebrated. Um, yeah. One more thing is the Christmas spirit. I feel like I mentioned it a bit when I said calling upon the Christmas spirit. I do not think that as Christians we should be calling upon anything but the Holy Spirit at all. You get me? And I feel like another thing is that oh, my leg doesn't show. Another thing is that I recently found out that there are some big companies in the Western culture, in the Western world, America, which forbid or train their employees to not say Merry Christmas because it might offend people. Why? Because it contains Christ, and Christ might offend certain people who are atheists, who are agnostic, who are not of the Christian religion, right? So they have taught and trained their employees to not say Christmas, but to say happy festive season, happy holidays, or if like it's in on an email, they're like happy Xmas. So for me, it's just a thing. It just puts more emphasis on how the world as a whole is trying to remove Christ from the Christmas. So it's like, don't do it. Basically, I really hope I said everything. Don't forget to read the chapters Jeremiah 10 and Leviticus 23, verse 40. Are the other ones? Nehemiah 8, verse 15. Don't forget to read those. And then when it comes to the decoration of the tree, as I said, we're not putting jewelry, we're not putting gold and silver on it, right? The the what are they? The ornaments, they are gold. Sometimes they are silver, sometimes they are green, but it's not gold and it's not silver. Otherwise, the tree would fall, right? So the decoration, I would like to just and put emphasis on the star that is put on top of the tree. I hope we all know what it means, but if you do not, if you go through Matthew chapter 1, verse 23, as well as 2, verse 19, um, yeah, 2, all the way through basically from 1 verse 23 to 2 verse 19, it talks about how there was a star. We all know that they saw a star of Jesus's birth and then they followed. And like we all know that story of how Jesus was born and how the star is the representation of the God, the Savior coming to earth. That is why the star is there. And then another thing is the manga. The manga basically is in Luke 2. You can go through Luke 2 to find um all about the manga. It is what Christ was put in, or where he was put when he was born, and that is why the manga is also put as part of the decorations during Christmas, right? Another thing that just to emphasize the celebration of Christ is that if you go through the chapters, the Bible books that talk about the birth of Christ. So another thing that just emphasizes the celebration of Christ, if you look through Luke 2, it talks, there's a part where it talks about the angels that celebrate and are in joy. There's shepherds who are called to go and give gifts to Mary and all of that because of the birth of Christ, and they're just like, oh my God, the Messiah has come, right? So for me, it's like, if um the angels are calling shepherds from another place where it's not next to Mary, and they're calling them to come and see the birth of the Messiah. They're celebrating it and they're just so excited. Why wouldn't you also celebrate his birth? That is what I would like to leave you with. That's what I would like to leave you with. That the celebration of Christ is to be done not however you want to, but in ways that are Christ like, in ways that show his character. I genuinely hope the lighting is still there. But I think that is that. In conclusion, remove Santa Claus and everything that's associated with Santa Claus, and not the colors. Colors, I don't think there's any harm in colors, if I'm being honest. Nowhere in the Bible did they say Satan was wearing red. It's just been used to associate Satan with, because red is blood, and you know, but yeah. So that's what I'd like to leave you with. I really hope this episode got you thinking and got you like, oh my gosh. I'm still learning how to say not oh my god, but oh my gosh, because I'm not supposed, as Christians, not supposed to be using God's word, God's name in vain. It's still a struggle of mine. If I'm just being transparent, it's also a struggle of mine, and I'm still working through it. So yeah, I hope this episode has you thinking, got you thinking, and if you watch it after Christmas, it's okay. You still have the next year to do it right. If God blesses you with the next year to do it right, with next year to do it right, do it right. You get me? And just make sure Christ is the fore and center of your Christmas. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And see you soon.